I'm joined by security specialist Will Geddes. Will, thanks for joining us. So, the government is to announce sanctions against those with strategic significance to the Russian government. How does this work, and who is it that's actually being targeted here?
Well, this is a particularly interesting strategy that obviously the UK government are choosing to employ here when we consider the amount of foreign money and particularly Russian oligarch money that has been invested, obviously, not only into property, but especially into business and into commerce. That if this is impacted, and apparently Liz Truss has made a very clear statement that even if it has a detrimental effect to the UK economy, they are willing to pursue this. However, the big question is how many of those oligarchs are loyal to Putin and how many of those are actual opposition to Putin?
Right. So, there's quite a different approach to the idea of direct military intervention in terms of securing Ukraine. Do you feel this would be more effective or less effective?
I think this will be an interesting implementation, as I don't think it will necessarily have that much impact on Putin, although we know that allies of his that are located here in the UK will directly affect his finances and no doubt some of his revenues. But sanctions generally will be applied in a broader scale, particularly against allies of Russia. And that could include, obviously, states where they are, for example, exporting gas and other natural resources, to directly impact oligarchs and certainly Russian business people in this country. This could be interesting in so much as what are the objectives? Are the objectives to put pressure on Putin? Or is it to, as we know the government have tried to achieve in the last few years, to identify sources of income that is owned by or certainly received by some of those Russian entities and Russian business people in this country? And that has been an ambiguous and foggy process. So it may be trying to hit a number of different targets through the same simple objective, and the agenda being the Ukraine.
Thank you. So, a criticism of the government's been happening for a long time, really, that Russian money is being laundered through the UK. Not much has been done about it from a security aspect. Do you think we're witnessing a sea change in government policy towards Russia here, or just a blip on the radar?
I think to a certain extent it's a little bit of a blip on the radar. The other question mark that obviously does rise is the fact that there are a number of oligarchs that finance and have significantly contributed to the Conservative Party process and certainly to their fundraising. Now, will those individuals be excluded from this broader net that's being thrown across Russian monies here in the United Kingdom, or will they be included? And this could be incredibly counterproductive for the Conservative Party and could potentially flourish a number of opposition that may choose to then invest in other political parties. So unless this is a cross-party agreement, and as yet, I don't think we've heard from Keir Starmer as to whether he is in alignment with this strategy. I think this could play out rather interestingly.
And where do you think we will be in 6 months' time in regards to this?
Well, I think one of the key issues here with the negotiations with Putin is always going to be underlined by finance. And we know that Putin is not only incredibly territorial in wishing to reclaim former USSR states or Russian states, if you like, to then be brought back into the Russian motherland, but there are considerable financial entities that Putin has a direct invested interest into, and invested in a literal sense, that if those are impacted, if it hits him in the pocket, he may be more inclined to withdraw from Ukraine. At the moment, we see a stalemate. And from what I understand from latest news is Boris Johnson is intending to depart for the Ukraine to present himself down there. I think, again, it is going to be a to and fro, unfortunately, with Ukraine caught up in the middle. And they being obstructed from joining NATO and joining the EU is not going to be certainly of benefit to the Ukraine in the longer term. However, I think this will be surpassed because this will not, in my estimation, potentially escalate into a military action.
Well, Geddes, thank you very much.
Thank you.